Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Winning Mindset Day 2. Okay. So I'd like to ask you guys, were you able to make your own vision board as what we heard from Coach Ayet last week? Okay. Yan. Okay, so from the vision board that we created, we will shift to planning, no? So today, yung session natin today, we'll talk about we will learn how to build a strong foundation, financial foundation, and later on, we will learn budgeting naman. Okay? So today we have a special speaker, no? We have a special guest. She is a graduate of financial management, and then she's a financial planning advocate. She's been a financial advisor for 3 years already, and she is a certified bookkeeper and a accounting associate for almost 8 years already. Okay, so we will learn a lot from her, and she will guide us through on how to build a strong financial foundation. Okay, so without further ado, let us all welcome Ms. Janine Soberano. The floor is on you,
Hi.
Janine.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing so far this afternoon? And so, today's session, I'll help you build your strong financial foundation. I'm doing this because it's been my mission to uplift the lives of individuals like you through financial empowerment. So, at the end of this session, um, I'm looking forward that you'll be more financially aware, financially responsible, and then become a mindful decision maker. Yan. So, do you believe that all your visions or your goals are possible through financial planning? Type yes in the chat box if you agree with me. Yan. No, it's really possible. Sabi nga nila, building our financial future, no, it's like building a house. So, paano niyo ba masasabi na ang isang house ay matibay? Anyone? How can you say that house is well-built or is strong? So, di ba kapag matibay yung foundation, do you agree? Matibay yung foundation, maganda yung materials na ginamit, ano pa ba? So, yun. So, yun yung mga ilan sa mga characteristic na isang matibay na house. So, it's the same. Sa finances natin, meron tayong tinatawag na financial house. So, kailangan yung financial house natin matibay din. So, to have a strong financial house, the first step is to have foundation. Tama ba? Di ba sa bahay, yun din yung unang ginagawa yung foundation. So, it's the same with our financial house. So, for our foundation, we have 4 layers of foundation. So, what are these? So, the first one is improve cash flows, manage debt, and emergency funds. So, do you experience ba na minsan parang yung salary natin or what we're earning is not enough sa ginagastos natin? Probably some of you, right? So, from that, it's really important na i-check natin yung cash flows natin. Sapat ba? Sapat ba sa expenses natin? And if not, probably it's time for us to have additional source of income, like having a part-time jobs, businesses, yun. Or maybe kailangan na rin natin i-check yung budget natin. Baka masyadong madaming debts. Baka kailangan i-manage na natin yung debts natin. So, di ba meron yung good debts, bad debts. So, baka kailangan i-check na natin yan. What else? Maybe check our expenses. Baka naman puro na wants, hindi na needs, no? Yung binibili natin. So, after that, then that's the time for you to build emergency funds. So, ano ba tong emergency funds? Anyone from the room kung ano ang emergency funds. Mami Sheila.
Emergency funds, these are nakatenga lang siya, parang nakalagay lang sa savings account. So just in case na biglang merong emergency, like biglang may accident or biglang may nagkasakit, we have this liquid funds na pwedeng magamit.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for sharing. So yung mga bigla ang gutom, hindi siya kasama sa emergency funds, no? Ano lang siya, allowance. So yung emergency funds, for emergency use lang talaga. So now, question is, how much emergency funds do we need to save? Anyone? So how much emergency funds do we need to
Six
save?
months. 6 months.
That's right, no? Actually, the rule of thumb is to have 3 to 6 months of salary. So bakit kaya? Kasi sabi nila, for example, nag-resign ka sa work, it takes 3 to 6 months for you to have another one. So kailangan, syempre, expenses mo, tuloy-tuloy pa rin. So that's why we need to build emergency funds of equivalent to 3 to 6 months of our salary. So now the next layer of foundation is what we call the mortgage protection. So anyone familiar about the mortgage protection? So dito sa picture, di ba, based from the picture, it's a property na pinoprotect. So that's actually the purpose of the mortgage protection. So for example, kumuha tayo ng bahay sa Pag-ibig, usually that's 20 years to pay. So what if something happened, parang in the middle of the year, nagbabayad pa siya, let's say after 5 years, na-aksidente and then eventually namatay. So what do you think will happen sa bahay na kinuha niya? Babawiin kaya yun, tingin nyo? Dahil hindi niya nabayaran? Probably yes, no? Pag walang mortgage protection, yun yung usual na nangyari. That's why having having mortgage protection is also important. So is that example clear? Okay, no
Let's type in
questions.
the
So
chat box. We can ask them to type yes or no on the chat box. Yes.
okay, clear. So next layer is yan. So what we call the critical illness insurance or health insurance and HMO. So question is health insurance and HMO the same? Yes or no? Type in the chat box. It's not the same. So here I have table here that shows what's the difference between health insurance and HMO. So yan. So pag sinabi natin HMO, di ba madalas yan yung ginagamit natin for check-ups, etc. And then, charge nila yung hospital bill. Whereas, sa health insurance, lump sum amount ang binibigay upon diagnosis. So of course, upon diagnosis, kailangan natin mag-comply first sa mga requirements. So when it comes to coverage age, for HMO, usually until 65 years old lang. So na-try nyo na ba maghanap ng HMO for your senior loved ones? May experience ba sa inyo dito na naghahanap ng HMO for parents who's already seniors? Kasi tinry ko medyo mahirap maghanap ng HMO for them. So, whereas sa health insurance naman, depending on the plan, so there's coverage until 75 to 100 years old. So, when it comes to premium, syempre si HMO annually renewed lang. So, yung premium may change to as you age. So, depende yan sa age natin kapag nag-apply for HMO. Sa insurance naman, it's the same. It's the same, no? It's based on the age. Pero by the time that you get the plan, pwedeng yung premium na binabayaran nyo is fixated that through its life. So, that's the difference. That's the major difference between HMO and health insurance. So, are we clear here so far before I move on to the next layer? Type yes. If no questions. So far wala pang questions. All right. Then lastly is what we call the disability insurance. So itong disability, so do you think ba pagka disabled, you'll still be able to earn income? You still have the capacity to earn income? Hindi na, di ba? Hindi na, medyo, lalo na for example, yung kamay yung ginagamit natin for our work and then suddenly na-aksidente, hindi na magamit. So it's impossible for you to have income na. But then, through disability insurance, magkakaroon tayo ng what we call income continuity. So by the time na you cannot perform your work, you don't have source of income. Once you have this disability insurance, so magkakaroon tayo ng income continuity. Okay, so that makes our foundation for our financial house. So next is we'll now build the walls. The financial house, this is what we call the life insurance. So are you guys aware what life insurance is? So based from picture, ano bang pinoprotect ni life insurance? It protects our family. So actually, that's the main purpose of life insurance. So it protects our family from what? From what kaya? What do you think? Si Mami Riza, are you here? So life insurance protects us from what?
It protects us from sickness, death.
Yeah, so mga life uncertainties, di ba? So actually, yung life insurance, we call it also love insurance. It's a legacy that you will leave for your family even if you're no longer around. So that's the purpose of life insurance. So may income continuity rin for the family that we will leave behind. Thank you, Mami Risa. So after the wall, it's time to build for our ceiling. So this is the educational plan. So may mga mommies na ba dito or parent?
Yes.
So sa educational plan, di ba you have one kid, Connor? So when did you start saving up for his education?
Nung time na pinanganak siya, kumuha na kami agad.
Yes. So that's the recommended, no? Actually, kasi matagal din kasi ipunan yung educational fund. So it's really suggested na as early as baby pa lang, nag-iipon na tayo for his education. Okay. Thank you, Mami Sheila.
You're welcome.
So next is, we're now at the last part of our financial house. This is the investment or retirement plan. So, syempre, di ba, last time we talked about having our goals and visions. So, do you plan to achieve that just by pure saving? Kung puro save lang yung gagawin natin, kailan kaya natin ma-attain yung goal and vision natin? So, medyo matagal, di ba? Baka it might take us more years para ma-realize natin yung goals and vision natin. That's why investment is also important. So let's make our money grow for us. So kung saan natin ilalagay yung mga investments natin, we'll have a separate session for that next week. So tuturuan tayo next week kung saan tayo pwede, kung ano-ano yung mga available na investment options for us. Okay. So aside from investment, that's also the time for us to prepare or plan for our retirement. So do you plan to work forever? I'm sure wala sa atin may plano mag-retire for the rest of our lives. So, and I'm sure also we want to maintain the lifestyle that we have right now until mag-retire tayo. Tama ba? Sino dito gusto mag-retire na nagta-travel na lang? I'm sure, di ba, most of you. So that's why retirement planning is also important. Okay, lastly is the estate planning. So what comes into your mind when you hear estate planning? Meron ba? From the word estate, siguro naiisip nyo real estate. Tama ba? So, actually, medyo related siya. Kasi pag sabi estate, it's about property or other term, we call it inheritance tax. So, usually ito yung nami-miss out natin, no? Pero kailangan siya kasi para to sa mga properties natin. So, I'll give an example for better understanding. For example, yung my father passed away 2 years ago. So, ngayon, yung mga properties dito, of course, nakapangalan pa sa kanya. Pero syempre, since he's no longer around, kailangan mapalitan na yung name niya sa titulo, sa property. So, do you think it's easy para palitan yung name niya sa mga legal documents? Like land title, house, etc. Hold on po. Yan. So, it's not easy. Medyo madami kasing requirements na hinihingi. So number one is attorney's fee because we seek for legal advices. Medyo mahal siya. And then yung mga other documents na kailangan like certified true copy, documents, legal documents, and all that. Plus the inheritance tax itself, which is 6%. Okay, 6% of the total property. So can you imagine if yung total property na ipapamana worth 6 million or 10 million. So, how much is the 6% of that? Magkano ba? 600K? Yan, 600K. Ang mahal, di ba, for the inheritance tax. So, ano bang mangyayari kapag hindi natin nabayaran ito? So, what do you think will happen if okay lang ba itong hindi bayaran? Probably that's one of your questions. So, anyone who knows the answer? Kung okay lang bang hindi bayaran yung estate tax? Yan. So actually, pag hindi kasi natin siya nabayaran, magiging delinquent yung property or pwede siyang kunin ulit ni government. So, kayo ba papayag kayo na yung property na ipapamana sa inyo or ipapamana nyo is makukuha ulit ng government or mawawala yung, magiging delinquent siya? Yan. So ako, syempre hindi. Syempre yung property, hindi ko papayagan na makuha siya ulit ng property. But siguro sa parents din dyan. Ikaw, Mami Sheila, for Connor, would you, payag ka ba na yung
No.
bahay nyo ngayon, di ba? So, hindi rin, of course. So that's our future financial house. So do you have any questions so far? So that what makes our financial house. For us to better understand, I have an illustration here. For you to better understand. So I have three girls here. Ayan. Was saving the same amount of money for 1 year. And then unfortunately, critical illness strikes. So what will happen sa kanilang tatlo? So si Miss Bank Saver, syempre lahat ng savings niya nasa bank. So the time of illness, ito lang yung nakuha niyang amount. Syempre, di ba, pagka nagkakasakit tayo, lahat talaga ng funds kinukuha natin yan. So for her, ito lang yung nakuha niya. Okay, Miss Risk Taker naman, who chose stock market, ito lang. So even if it's returned, do you think this amount is enough for her hospitalization for a critical illness? I don't think so. Very kulang. So, kumuha siya ng BUL so nagkaroon siya ng additional fund na 500,000. Her health insurance benefit. So, di ba kanina sa financial house natin, yung health insurance, lump sum siyang binibigay. So, yun, nakakuha siya this amount which she can used for her hospital. Kung hindi man niya ma-survive yung sakit or hindi siya makarecover, her family will receive life insurance coverage of 1 million. Or let's say, naka-recover siya, then she'll have projected fund value of 3.2 million at her retirement. Okay. So financial identify kung anong nakuha nila dito. No? So si Miss Bank Saver, ano kaya yung nakuha niya, nabuo niya dito sa house? So, emergency funds. Kasi nasa bangko yung pera niya. So most probably that's emergency fund. And here, I think she just started building her house. No, kasi nasa foundation na siya. But unfortunately, dito kasi ang kalaban natin is yung time. Diba? We don't know when an illness will strike. We don't know when accident will happen. We also don't know when death will come. So, unfortunately, sa kanya, nauna yung sakit. Next is si Miss Taker. So, she chose stock market. So, ang tinamaan niya lang sa house natin is the investment plan. So, medyo ang laki nung nilaktaw niya. Kaya, nung nagkasakit, when unexpected event happened, nag-collapse yung financial house niya. Lastly, si Miss Moneywise. So, based sa benefits na nakuha niya kanina, meron siyang health insurance. So, yun yung nagamit niya for hospitalization. Tapos yung plan niya also has a life insurance and also a retirement plan. So, medyo nabuo yung house, no? Do you think strong yung foundation? Strong yung house ni Miss Moneywise? So, it is strong pero pwedeng not enough, no? Depende yan sa needs, no? So, probably by now, naiisip nyo, is my financial house strong? Based on our discussion. So, if you think it's not, then let us help you build your strong financial foundation. So, that ends my presentation this afternoon. Do you have any questions? I open the floor now for questions.
Wow, thank you, Janine, for the wonderful presentation. Yan, so I'm sure nagkaroon na tayo ng idea on how to make a strong financial home. So guys, do you have questions to Miss Janine?
Parang wala na.
No questions. Okay. Okay. Ayan. Okay. I think there's a activity from Miss Janine. You can continue.
Sige. May short worksheet lang ako for every one of us. So let me just attach a file.
We will do some computations so that you will be aware kung ano na yung each step, each part of your house, financial home, kung ano na, strong na or not. Tama ba?
But ayaw na maano. I'm trying to attach the file. Anyway, I have it online here. Maybe sundan nyo na lang ako. You can just use a sheet of paper. Ayaw niyang
Maybe we can send it to them na lang. For those who invited you, you may ask for the Excel file. Okay.
But I'll walk you through
Okay.
for the worksheet. So this is what we call life goals. Yan. So di ba sa bahay yung materials na ine-estimate natin. So sa financial house natin, yung each category, lagyan natin ng target amount. Okay? So number one is income protection. How much income protection do we need? So, ito yung formula. So, ilagay nyo lang dito yung estimated monthly expenses nyo times 6 months. So, that's the amount needed for at least 5 years. Sabi kasi nila, based from study, for family, from the death of breadwinner or yung source of income sa family, it would take at least 5 years for them to financially recover. So that's why we need to prepare at least 5 years income protection for 5 years. So, yan. Pwede nyo akong sabayan mag-compute. Later on, I'll send the file. Yan. Next is the health fund. So how much health fund do you want to set or yung target nyo? Estimated medical expense in case of critical illness. Yan. So actually, pag sinabi kasing critical illness, ang mahal, di ba? So, personally for me, I'd prefer mga 2 million per health fund. But then, again, for you, since iba-iba tayo ng goals, it depends din kung ilan yung gusto nyo, how much limit would you want to set for your health fund. Yan. So, ilagay nyo lang dyan. Next is education. So, eto, ilagay nyo lang yung estimated tuition fee and then yung years ng college. Like, for example, for me, back then, ang tuition fee would cost around 100K per year. So, if it's 4 years, then that's a total of 400K. That's the amount needed for college. Pero, I'd like to highlight na hindi pa nito nako-compute yung inflation rate. No? So, we need to prepare for an amount that's probably 20 years from now. So, yung 400K for sure won't be the same amount for the next 20 years. But at least you have the minimum amount na pwede nyong ilagay dito or i-target. So, next is the retirement. Diba? Ilagay mo lang dito yung retirement age na gusto nyo. For example, for me, I want to retire 50 years old. And then, less your current age. So, yun na lang yung natitirang years nyo before retirement. So, in my case, 28, 22. So, meron na lang akong 27 years to prepare for my retirement. So, magkano ba yung total retirement fund na gusto ko? So, how much target monthly pension ba yung gusto niyo? So, for example, gusto niyo 30K, 30K pension, pagka-retirees na kayo, you can put it here. So, times 12 months, kasi, and then times number of years, kung ilang years yung iipunin yung retirement fund. So, for example, ako, gusto ko ilagay dito, I want to prepare fund for 20 years. Kasi, di ba, 55 yung retirement age ko, I want to prepare fund until mag-75 ako. So, ilalagay nyo lang siya dito. And then, computin nyo, that's the total retirement fund that you need. So, probably you'll see shocking amount. Medyo madami. Medyo baka malaking amount yung makita nyo dyan. But it's okay. But ilagay lang natin, just put it down here. And then later on, will help you kung paano nyo siya ma-attend. Okay. Lastly is preparing for large purchases in the future. So, di ba may mga goals kayo based from our last year's session? So, list it down. Like for example, dito, gusto nyo magka-car. No? Tapos, magkano ba yung kailangan nyo for that car? Just put it here. And, ilang years ba yung need nyo para for that goal? So, let's say, car after 3 years. Or pwede nyo ilagay dito, house. Kano yung kailangan nyo and ilang years from now nyo siya gustong i-target. So just put everything down. And after that, syempre ang dami nating life goals dyan. Yan. I-rank nyo lang siya kung ano yung gusto nyong i-prioritize. So is it your income protection? Is it your health fund? Is it your retirement? Or is it your goals? So, i-rank nyo lang siya. Yung sa gilid dito. And then, decide how much you can set aside for that priority in your life. So, some of you siguro madaling makakapag-set aside ng budget. Let's say, sabi mo, I'm ready to set aside 5,000 for these priorities in life. But some of you, maybe, sasabihan walang budget. But don't worry, kasi that's why we have our next speaker for this afternoon. She'll help us do effective budgeting para we can set aside more for our priorities in life. So for our next speaker, I'd like to give the floor back to Ma'am Sheila to introduce us to our next speaker.
Okay, thank you, Miss Janine. Ayan, nasundan ba natin yung life goals na pinakita niya ni Janine? This is like also a vision board, no? Para siyang kino-quantify na natin yung vision na nagawa ninyo. So, it's more on kung ano yung nakalagay sa vision board mo, i-quantify mo siya. So, ito na yan. Na? Okay. So, ngayon, ang next step natin, maybe you're wondering, naku, ang laki ng mga amounts na lumabas, nakakalula, no? Don't worry. That's why we're here, no? We will guide you on how to work on that step by step. Okay, so ang first step talaga dyan is budgeting. So now we will proceed to the next speaker. She will share with us the different types of itemized expenses. So these are needs and wants na meron tayo, no? And then, our speaker today is an advocate of financial planning, and she is a success enthusiast. So without further ado, let us all welcome Miss Kate Dalino. The floor is yours, Kate.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, that's great. Good afternoon, everyone, and I hope everyone is still awake. So I will be discussing budgeting tips today, but before we start, let's have icebreaker. Okay ba yon? Kasi parang medyo tahimik baka dahil after lunch, baka medyo inaantok na. Okay? So ang gagawin natin, I'll show you a picture and then type in the chat box if it's a need or want. So either needs or wants, yun lang. Pipili lang kayo dun sa dalawa. So, who would like to help me track? Meron tayong pa-price, depende, paramihan ng points. So whoever.
Ako na lang mag-track.
Okay, thank you. So, let's start. Let me know kapag may nakakuha na ng hindi ko nakikita yung chat eh. Sige. This one. Is this a need or a want?
I'll give you 10 seconds. 10,
Sali din
9,
ba ako?
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Okay, so we got 3 answers. Anika, Blessing,
Okay.
and Janine. They answered want.
Okay, great. Tama. So next picture.
Paunahan ba?
Paramihan ng
Paramihan
points.
ng points. Yeah. The
Okay.
first, kung sino yung pinakamataas na point, will receive a 300 Gcash. Okay, so we have 3 winners. First, second, and third. Okay, second winner will get 200 Gcash and the third winner will get 100 Gcash. Are you ready? Okay, you can now answer need or want. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Okay, we got only one answer from Blessing. She answered need.
That's correct.
Okay, 2 points for Blessing. Okay, ready na? So, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Okay, Blessing and Janine answered 1.
Tama. Very good.
Go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Okay, Blessing answered need. Okay.
Tama. Need. Food yan eh. Food. So, need natin yung food. Okay. Next.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Okay, only Blessing send an answer. 1.
Tama.
Okay. How many
Mhm.
points na si Blessing, Janine? 7 points na ba?
5 po yata.
5 points. Thank you, Riza.
Sorry, nakamute pala ako. 5, yes, 5.
Okay, 5 points for Blessing and 1
Okay.
point for Anika. Is that
Oh.
right?
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Proceed. Let's go. Game. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Okay, so we got 2 answers. Tama ba? Carolina and Janine want.
Correct.
Okay. Next. Ayan, humabol si Anika. Na time's up na tayo. Okay, so next habol tayo, Anika and Carolina.
Yes, but this picture would be the last picture. So,
Last na. Akala ko meron pa.
Hindi, just one more. Last one more picture.
Sige. Oh, game. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Okay, so Carolina answered 1 and then Janine answered need.
Okay, so the correct answer is need. Na discuss ni Janine earlier that this is actually part of the foundation and so it is part of the needs. But don't worry, we'll discuss further. And I think Janine who won.
It's... Am I on mute? Hindi. Ayan, it's Blessing.
Blessing got 5 points and then...
Yes.
Okay.
And then, Janine 3 points.
Janine 3 points.
Sumali ako.
Ano na?
Pero I think
Huwag ka na sumali, Janine.
I think I can give away my prize.
Carolina got how many points?
Anika and Carolina tie.
1 point. 1 point, 1 point?
I-share na lang.
I-share na lang. Sige.
Uh-uh.
So, give us your GCash number, account number, so that I'll send it to you. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Blessing, Anika, Carolina, thank you for participating in our icebreaker.
Okay. Hopefully, gising na. Ready na ulit makinig. So, eto, uumpisahan ko yung ating discussion. Ulit, magpapakilala ako. My name is Catherine Dalimot, or you can call me Kate. And as Sheila mentioned earlier, I am an advocate of financial planning and a success enthusiast. I've been with the industry for more than 9 years. Okay, I'd like to start my presentation with a quote. Kung nakapakinig na kayo ng mga previous presentation ko, ito yung favorite ko, mga quotes. Sorry. Lumagpas. Sensya na. Ako nakaligtaan na. So, mukhang naskipan ko. Pero, before we go to the quote after this one, let me ask you a question first. What is your spending behavior? Are you this guy wherein it is expense minus income is equals to debt, or income minus expense is equals to savings. Or behavior number 3, income minus your savings is equals to expense. Okay. What do you prioritize? You can type in the chat box. So that's the quote that I'm talking about earlier. Do you save first and spend what is left? Or do you spend first and save what is left? Okay. Before we discuss this rule, 60-20-20 rule, how do you budget your income currently? Who would like to share? Would you like to share in the chat box, or would you like to unmute yourself? How do you budget your income? Or if you're a housewife, how do you, and you don't work, how do you budget the income? Okay, Janine, 70-30-30, 70-30-10. Would like to share?
Sobrang
Parang,
70-20-10 lang.
oo nga eh, parang nagkamali yata ako sa math. Yan. Yan, okay. Meron bang ibang gusto mag-share kung paano nagbabudget? Binabayaran ba lahat muna ng bills? Or sinisave ba muna bago nagbabayad ng bills? Paano? Paano nyo ginagawa yung budgeting nyo?
Siguro ako mag-share na lang.
Sige, Janine, go.
So, pagka may salary na, I follow envelope system kasi. So, I follow the 70-20-10. So, yung 70, yun yung spending ko. And then yung spending envelope ko, binabayaran ko na, so di ba may 20% per saving na nakaseparate na siya talaga. And then itong 70, babayaran ko na lahat ng gastos ko, or yung bills. And then yung matitira, that's my allowance. And then, pag medyo malaki pa siya, dadagdagan ko ulit yung sa saving envelope. So there are times na it's more than 20% yung saving envelope.
Wow.
Yun.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you, Janine. Have you heard about this budgeting rule, which is 60-20-20? This budgeting is all about finding your ways to set yourself up for financial freedom. Budgeting is one of the most important milestones on the way to living a stress-free and worry-free life. But sometimes this can make us feel like we don't have any money left to actually enjoy. If you've experienced any of these problems, then 60-20-20 budget is perfect for you. It's a budgeting guide that lets you organize your finances the simple way. The best part is it leaves you some money to spend for yourself. So we will discuss what's the 60, 20, and 24. Okay, 60% is allocated for your needs or for the family's needs, as discussed by Janine earlier sa kanya, 70%, which is possible then, depende how you manage your budget. But this one is actually recommended, 60%, lalo na kung nag-uumpisa ka pa lang sa budgeting. And then 20% goes to your savings or investment. And then 20% for your wants. So akala nyo puro bayad-bayad na lang. No, for this budgeting rule, meron para sa kung ano mang gusto ninyo or sa mga hobby, ganon. Okay. So what are the items that fall under the needs? All living expenses like mortgage, rent, utilities are part of 60%. For 20%, savings or investment, after having enough money on your emergency fund, ideally 3 to 6 months of your salary, your extra money should go to investments. And then the last 20% or the other 20% is for your discretionary spending or for wants or for fun. This includes watching movies, eating to your favorite restaurant, traveling for leisure, and more. Diba? You can also use your wants funds to save for or to upgrade your gadget, something like that. Okay. So now I just have a quick activity for you. This will actually help you manage or track your spending behavior. I have here a QR code. You can just scan this and then it will actually route you to a Google Sheet. And if you're using a PC or a laptop, go to file, then create a copy before you start editing. Because what will happen every time that someone is editing it, it will be changed. So make sure to create your own copy. And then if you're using a mobile phone, there's a three dots at the upper right. Click that, then scroll down. Look for share and export, then make a copy. It's usually in the bottom. So this spending tracker, you can start using these so that you'll be aware where your money is going through. This will help you realize your spending behavior. We'll give you like maybe 3 minutes to.
I got it.
Okay, great. So now let's discuss how you can make 60-20-20 work for you. First, find out ways to save on your needs. If you're working at night and needs caffeine to stay awake, instead of buying your brewed coffee from Starbucks, how about trying those less expensive ones like Dunkin' Donuts, McDo, or the 7-Eleven one? Um, Same effect, but less expensive, right? Um, Next, prioritize your investment fund. We should treat our investment funds as a bill that we needed to pay, an obligation, not just an option. So if we feel like parang bill siya na kailangan nating bayaran or hulugan, magiging discipline na natin yung pagsisave din. Third, take control of your wants fund. Just make sure you'll not go over your budget. Remember, you have 20% allocated to your wants fund. Number 4, create spending tracker. This will allow you to monitor your expenses. Just writing these things out can help you identify where all your money is going and how you can allocate them better. Okay. Next, what could be your challenges on achieving the 60-20-20 rule? First, no budget at all. Second, not enough income. For these two items, if ever most of your income is allocated to needs, there's a problem and we can help you with that. We can help you earn additional income. Just reach out to the person who invited you to this webinar. So don't feel like parang wala nang pag-asa or there's no hope that you will be able to save or buy something that you want. Just let us know and we will be able to help you earn additional income. 3, credit card. Actually, credit cards, you should keep it away. This can cause you to be out of control of your wants fund. Avoid add to cart, lalo na kapag may Lazada sale or Shopee sale. What do you like? Add to cart or add to investment?
The investment.
Okay, very good. And then 4, living above your means. Make sure not to go over 20% of your wants fund. Spending tracker would be a great help to keep you on track. Okay. And then Anika is requesting for me to go back to the next slide. So let me just get to the last slide. Okay. Are you good with that, Anika? Okay, thank you. So let's move on. Just like a quick recap. And another quote, kasi favorite ko talaga ang mga quotes. Do the uncomfortable now so you can be comfortable in the future. Kung iniisip mo na medyo mahirap i-follow yung 60-20-20, it's better na gawin mo na siya ngayon kasi kesa naman maghirap ka in the future, like kahit na 65 ka na nagwo-work ka pa kasi you weren't able to save for your retirement. The best time to invest was yesterday. The next best time is today, and the worst time is tomorrow. If you're waiting for a higher salary or a fatter bank account, don't. Why? First, starting early means your money will earn interest longer, benefiting from market gains. Second, you don't have that big of an expense when you're younger. You can set aside more money. Third, investing early trains you to save and set aside a portion of your income. This habit also curbs your spending and prevents you from wasting money on useless things. And fourth, you will have peace of mind knowing that you have money set aside and earning for you helps you live with less worries. Investing protects you from unexpected problems like losing a job or rising costs of basic necessities. This helps you overcome inflation. Fifth, you will have a comfortable retirement. Don't you like that? So kung bata ka pa, nag-start ka na mag-save, sobrang enough yung magiging retirement fund mo. So kagaya na na-discuss ni Janine kanina, ayaw nyo bang pa-travel-travel na lang tayo on our retirement age? Kita-kita na lang tayo, di ba? Okay. So now I know the question on your mind is, where to put your investment fund? So don't miss our last session, which will be next Saturday, same time, 1 p.m., as our speaker, Francis Matias, will discuss the instrument or the investment instruments. So he will be discussing your investment options. I'd like to leave this quote. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. Thank you everyone for your time listening today. I know it's a family day and a busy day, but thank you for making time and asking your support to like my Facebook page. Just scan the QR code. But before I let you go, do you have any questions? Pwede ring magtanong pa kay Janine. If ever meron kayong pahabol na tanong, we can accommodate. Questions so far? Here? Okay, I'll turn
Yes.
over it back to you. No
Okay.
questions. Mahiyain sila.
Oo nga. Thank you, Kate, for the
You're
wonderful
welcome.
presentation. Yung mga quotes mo talagang bigatin siya. May impact. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we are hopeful, no, for all who are listening right now. I believe that marami kayo na-learn from Kate and Janine today, and we encourage you to start applying them now. Huwag na ipabuka. So yung mga worksheet na binigay namin sa inyo, fill it out, and then it's really important to listing down your expenses. From there, makikita ninyo na napapagastos na pala ako. Maging conscious kayo, and slowly you will be able to save more. Okay? Ayan. So, since wala kayong questions, pag may naisip kayo afterwards, you just message the person who invited you here, and see you again next week. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have
Happy
a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Happy weekend!